Today's episode is sponsored by Brightco Insurance.
What's up, Chillas? Hello, hello. Oh, come on. You guys work in weddings. You're louder than this. You're having me with my family. My family's here. I know y'all are loud. Welcome, you guys, to the beautiful Elliot. So excited for our first live Bridechilla event. And so grateful to have the conversation today because I hear it so often from couples that what do I need a venue coordinator for if I have a wedding planner? And why do I need a wedding planner if I have a venue coordinator? And they're both great questions, but they overlap in certain ways, but in a lot of ways they do not. And I think today's a great day to kind of get rid of the myths and misconceptions and help you guys with your wedding planning journey. And those of you that are in the space have a better understanding of each other because I know that there can be some tension, which we'll talk about today as well. And so hopefully we can see how we can partner better with the two roles. And so our great guest today, I'd like to introduce first from the Elliot, Stephanie Ridgely. Stephanie, woo! She and her team here help couples bring their vision to life in this beautiful, historic, artful place. Get over here, hop on the couch. And then our powerhouse planner, the owner of All Events Planned, Brandi Fisher. We were pre-talking a bit, and I know that you both deal with a lot of tension and overlap, but also partnership and collaboration. And so I'm really excited that you're going to share your information today. Brandi's
We're all making
ready.
a lot of eye contact.
Yeah, Brandi's like,
okay.
I had a fuck it bucket and I'm ready to spill everything.
Drink the fuck
Drink the
bucket.
bucket
They're
bucket,
so
y'all.
good.
Yeah, that was a smart signature cocktail idea. Thank you for that.
We're in the industry.
I mean, right? So actually with that, let's start off with the role of a venue coordinator. What does that entail for those that may not be familiar? Microphone.
Oh, microphone. Duh. Venue coordinator handles the hardware, whereas the event coordinator handles the software. Our staff, for instance, they're going to be here to open the doors for you. They are working the elevator. They're making sure the bathrooms are stocked and cleaned. And they're making sure that all of our staff that we are responsible for, bartenders, security, valet if needed, is here on time. Everything else, your timeline, where things go, layout, all that stuff, that's going to be your planner.
What do you think is the biggest misconception couples have about the venue coordinator role?
That we call it the coordinator.
Oh,
Because we've always called it venue coordinator. We started to try to use venue staff, but it just seems so not as important, I guess. So I think the word coordinator really throws people off, and I really do think that a lot of venues do things differently. So it's really hard to compare apples to apples when you are venue searching, especially in Cleveland because of how different every venue is here.
Oh, for sure, because you have newer spaces, you have historic, you have things that have built-in amenities and some that you have to build
Absolutely.
from the ground up.
You have places that have catering in-house, and you have places that bring catering from outside, and that's very, very different with how your contracts and invoices are going to look.
I love that you said that about the coordinator title. I hadn't considered that in specific. So actually, Brandi, that's a good segue to you because as a wedding planner, what does that entail for you and how do you see the coordinator title get misconstrued with venue leadership?
So from the perspective of the planner, we have varying degrees of services overall that we provide in the first place. So the first thing is that not all planners offer the same services or the same level of services. So even in the midst of that conversation, you're looking at planners offering different services. You're also offering venues with coordinators who offer different services. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there is not a lot of cohesion in Cleveland in our market of anything, of any vendor. Yep. And so there's a huge struggle of you can't ever compare apples to apples. You are comparing even planners, period, offer different packages. They call them different names. They offer different amenities within the package that don't align with other. So all of that's very, very confusing. I think that's where the wedding planner comes into play. We're going to help you navigate all of that stuff where the venue is managing the venue. We can help manage the vendors and the venue and the timeline and your parent dynamics and your drama with your bridesmaids or whatever that is. we spend all of that time talking with you and having those conversations and getting to know all of these things. And it's not to say that the venue doesn't as well, but we're just so involved for the most part in so much behind the scenes that by the time we get to the venue, we're done with a lot of that part of it. And then the venue can run the show in theory. I think that from the perspective of trying to see what offers what, I would think that even if a venue claimed they offered wedding planning, you'd still want that to be an independent service because they're still aligned with the venue. You need, not that the venue's ever doing anything, but a planner is in your corner no matter who you hire. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what you need. Somebody in your corner no matter where you end up or what you do, because some venues have amazing coordinators, some have none. Some have some that quit 6 months in.
Right.
Some have some that do stuff that is not included in what their job description is. Therefore, they're doing things outside of that which may not be included later because they have a boss. And it's like, your planner does not have that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest element of it. We're not withheld, we don't report to someone other than you.
Right.
So we have no loyalty.
Do you have anything with that? Because I saw your reaction.
Well, we do things a little differently. We do have an in-house planning and coordination team. It's me and Katie. And then we're working on...
Shout out to Katie.
Katie, hi. And then Colleen sometimes. But we are working on growing that because when we started, we're like, yeah, we'll just offer it to a few people because that could be fun. And now it's like most of our business. It's every wedding we're doing. But because of that, we learn... we have to separate and we teach our staff that like, here's what the coordination is doing. If there is no coordinator, and just like treat us like we are still an outside coordinator and then I'm not here as the venue staff for the day. Just so we're not confusing people confusing our staff when we're not on site coordinating. So we do try to educate our staff and then, everybody else as well and the vendors. So it is separate, even though we love doing it. We do try to keep that separate. And so I do agree with you that it should be, someone, when you say separate from the venue, in most cases, absolutely yes. I think in our case, it's nice that we have the knowledge of the venue. We know what works best, what vendors have worked best in this space, but we also are on your side. And if you want this to happen, as long as it's within policy, we're going to make it happen.
Which I think is the biggest difference between the two roles. Just historically, is the venue coordinator. You're looking out for the venue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your venue first.
Yes.
So anything that entails that. Whereas the wedding planner, you're working for the couple.
Outside of wanting the day to go great, I don't have any obligation to the venue. Mm-hmm. They can't fire me. I can't suggest something and then they're like, I would never want to do that. But I don't mean that like I would, but I'm saying like I can't disturb the venue in a way that I'm not able to align with my client. But I don't think that I've ever been in a position in 20 years to ever speak out against a venue or oppose a venue, right? Like I would rather work in the terms of the venue. Mm-hmm. So normally with new venues, we like to know like, what are your policies? What's load-in? What's cleanup? Because every one of them is different and I don't know who you've interacted with. So I would like to come in as knowledgeable as I can because I don't know if you've had somebody come in that didn't care and didn't listen. So we try to like make sure we're coming in as kindly and as respectfully as possible.
I think it's also starting to get a little, I don't want to say skewed. I don't know the best word for it at this moment, but like, you mentioned how some venues now are trying to do the full in-house and have their own planners on hand. But we've also discussed previously about how there's certain venues that make you bring on your own person. Yes. So talk to us about those type of venues and what couples should be considering if they come across that.
I don't think I could speak to that. Because I've only heard rumblings and hearsay, and I'm not expert enough on that.
But you have been hearing in the community that's not that's a bad thing necessarily, but that's something that couples need to consider that maybe there's not even a venue coordinator.
Exactly. I have been learning that there are some venues, and it always shocks me that there's not even someone there for the venue that day. And of course, it's going to be different if it's a hotel and there's the banquet or banquet managers there because they have an in-house catering. So those people are going to help out with the building itself. But if you're going into just a place and it's basically like an Airbnb, you have a key to get in. What if something goes wrong? You don't know how to work that place. You're walking in for the first time. Our place, we have so many nuances, the elevator, just where you can and cannot store things. It's an old historic church.
Right.
And I think people forget that because we have renovated it. if there's not someone on staff here, like, I can't imagine. And so it does just truly shock me. Like, I understand that everybody's going to figure out how to work with that. But yeah, if I were to tell a couple that's picking a venue that doesn't have a venue staff on site, I would just be very question what's in the contract, who's responsible for what, cleaning, like who do I call if something breaks?
Which is actually a really big point with couples, not reading their contracts thoroughly.
Oh my God.
So let's speak on this, because I really think that you guys should be sneaking in things to see who reads the contract and who doesn't. Like funny things, not like I guess taking your first child.
I was taking their first child.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to add in a line that says, I get your first child, and see if anybody can notice it all, and then take everyone's first child.
But you'll give them a discount if they find it. If they read the contract, you give them a discount.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I think that applies to every contract. Like, I have not once read anything that Apple has sent or Google has sent. I'm just like, yes. So, I mean, none of us are reading contracts anymore. So but I do think that there needs to be some, for the sake of the venue or the coordinator or the photographer, it's in your best interest to review that with your clients so that you're making them aware of things that are listed in there that we have a photo release. Like, we can either use your photos or not. Yeah. You have to say, when you sign, like, yes or no. People don't read it. They say yes, I get photos, and then they will come back and say, like, oh, we don't want our photos anywhere listed. And it's like, well, obviously I want to take them down. I'm not like, tough shit. I would take them down, but like, it's like, but you signed this, and it said, like, if you don't initial here, and like, you didn't. So it's in my best interest to go line by line too. So I think, like, it should not be our responsibility, but if we want the best outcome out of it, we should probably be babysitting them through the contract signing.
Well, that's actually my question for both of you. Do you do that process with your couples to make sure?
Not ever, even though I just said I should.
So I would say that on our side, through the sales process and even further, we do a lot of education. I try to break it down as easy for people as possible. This is probably your first time with a wedding, and for most people, also your first time in the event industry.
First time spending $80,000 like ever.
Yes, and like even if it's somebody else's money, it's like it's
still
insane.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that just go sign and then come back going, well, I can't do this. It's like, no. And so I tell people, I'm like, I don't want you to just sign here. I know you like this place. Go home and read this. Like, you're not allowed to sign until you read this. And reading is just read your contracts.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like the first thing we always talk about on the show is, aside from nailing down that budget, is choosing your venue. So from both of your perspectives and your roles, how do you help couples navigate if the venue is right for them, your venue, and what venue is right for your couple?
Okay, so I try to tell even prospects that call, there are hundreds of weddings, millions of weddings a year without planners. So no, not everyone needs a planner. So bearing in mind that you don't necessarily need one, the narrative though is, you don't know what you're doing. Why wouldn't you want someone that could help guide you to the best decisions? It's this idea that like planners get these great discounts. I don't believe in asking a good vendor for a discount. I feel like it's disrespectful to the service they provide. And unless I'm also taking photos and I can say this to the photographer, you won't have to do, like, you can't ask that, but we can guide you to why you don't need 400 uplights, or when you're signing the contract that you don't need 12 hours, or you do need 12 hours. And a lot of people miss setup, tear down, and it's getting guided through that because you can find the cheapest venue that you can fit in your budget, and it's fun, and then you get into the process and find out that there's 20 additional fees that weren't included, and now you've selected a subpar venue to save money, except you just spent more money to have the venue itself. And I think that the start of that creates the rest of the planning to be problematic, because you're not aligned with what you wanted. You're not getting what you had hoped to get. And in the long run, based on your budget, you're probably not spending what you hoped to spend, because we do 40 or 50 weddings a season. And I would say that people primarily, 100% of my clients have gone over budget by at least $10,000.
Wow.
Even though when we start, my entire goal is like, I will keep telling you not to spend money to keep you at this number. You will have to work against me to spend more, and they still do. Mm-hmm. So it's really trying to navigate through that with someone who isn't emotionally invested in how you feel. I mean, I care about my clients' feel like, but kind of not. You know, like you kind of have to be like, no. Like
You have to give tough love.
you know how I say like, well, let's crush your dreams now, not later. So that
Setting expectations.
you're this close to your wedding, and I go, oh, you can't afford those chairs. Ha 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 ha. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's out of your budget. So it's like telling them in advance, like, no, let's not do this. If we have money at the end for these really random things that you want to do, like we'll throw it in, but let's not go over budget for that yet. So I think that that's the key is there's not this emotional connection to you and wanting everything. There's a very practical mind guiding you through each decision. And then years later, you know you did make the best decisions. I tell my prospects to talk to at least 2 or 3 other planners because I want you to know why you hired me, and I want you halfway through to be like, we did make the best decision on this planner, not we hired the first person because the vibes were great, and what if we should have hired somebody more organized or less funny?
Do you think other planners don't feel the same way, though?
God, I would hope so. I think that the worst thing that could happen to any of us is to get the wrong client and get a bad review. So my top priority is the right clients so that I don't spend 12 months worrying about a bad review because I don't want to. So it's like, yeah, like I would think everyone would want to be as upfront. I would like to anti-sell as much as possible so that you are convinced you need me.
Yes.
Right.
Not halfway through you go, this was dumb, and like, now I have to fight you and your mom and your maid of honor.
Always the moms.
Always the mom. So I think like maybe they don't, but I would be very uncomfortable letting somebody just be excited and hire, or even just book the first venue they saw, because there's such an emotional reaction to everything when you're planning your wedding. Because you're excited about every part of it,
Right.
that you want to book the first of everything and spend the most and do the most. And we were talking before, I have a venue and they offer a discount if you pay in full up front. And I told my clients, like,
Don't do it.
no, but they're so excited at the idea of getting money off that they're not thinking through. So that's where your non-emotional reaction are like, hey, here's what could happen. Let's really focus.
Let's emphasize that. If a vendor is wanting you to pay in full up front,
There are only 2 reasons.
that's a red flag.
They're broke
Red flag.
and they need cash,
Yep.
which you don't want to worry about because what if they're not around because they're having financial troubles? Or there's some things going on that you don't want to be a part of and you don't want your money going to it. I don't think...
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see that coming. That's a hot take, and I'm here for
We're not
it.
talking about that on this podcast.
All right. Meet us after.
Steph, I want to hear your side of it.
What was the question?
So, as in your way of looking at it from your perspective, when a couple comes to you about wanting to book the Elliot,
Oh, yes. Okay.
how do you help them decide if this is the right venue for them? Because in the same token, is it the right couple for you?
absolutely.
Because you're also navigating these couples. Like it's like a dating game,
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I will say when we first started, it was get whatever you can in here. And looking back, the second that we started having boundaries is when we had better executed events. It in line with everybody because everybody's happy and they made the right choice. But what I like to do in everything is on our website. Everything we will ever put in a contract, anything, it's on our website because we want to be transparent. We don't want to hide anything from you. We want you guys to do the work too. So by the time that you come to us, we are having an actual conversation without you like worrying in your head, well, what does this cost? What is everything? So I like to ask questions about, is your family in town? Do you think that you're going to have a hotel downtown? Do you like to dance? What is your biggest priority? Do you need a photo booth? Like, what's on your invite list versus like what you think will actually come? Like, thinking in my head about like the restraints that we have with a historic building, how does that affect the vision for the client? And sometimes I just say, listen, I can't do that for you, and I want you to have the best wedding ever because I'm obsessed with weddings. Here's where I think you should go and who I think you should talk to. But if you want a bridal shower, come back.
Right? Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
This is, we talked about this when I messaged you to be like, hey, let's not fight on the stage. Let's find out in advance. And working with a venue itself, being experienced enough to learn what venues, like I don't love every venue, but I'm not the client. So then learning the pros and cons of all the venues so that when I'm talking to the client and I know they have 300 people all out of town, that they need a venue that's airport adjacent, these things that actually matter.
All the
How
logistics.
old your crowd, like are they gonna party and get wasted or are they older and it'll be over by 10? all of those things matter in the decision, starting with the venue.
Yeah.
Because like you said, do we have restrictions? Did you want balloons and the venue doesn't let you have
We
balloons?
can't have helium upstairs for so many reasons.
So, right, I didn't actually even think
It's
about
happened before.
So determining all that too, so that you don't then run into those issues. And so really being able to know what the venue does really well, what the venue does very poorly, and trying to get the client to understand we don't want to work against the venue. I had a country club wedding with a tropical theme, right? So you're now competing with the venue and nothing makes sense. So like it's minor, but it's like all those things are going to matter, and it's being very thoughtful about how will this venue represent us best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that too, working with outside, for each of your roles, working with outside vendors and bringing it into the space. And shout out to Marigold and Sugar Booth here. Speaking of bringing in vendors, what is that like from your perspective in helping a couple now? Because like you have certain vendors that you'll work with, and certain that I don't know if you don't work with them or they're just not friendly for the space, or like.
We're talking shit now?
No. I mean, this is Bridechilla.
Okay.
Talk all the shit.
We are very, very picky in our vendor selection because at the end of the day, your guests think everything is our fault. Even if you brought in the planner, you brought in you can't bring in your own caterer. You brought in, I don't know, the DJ, and they brought in their own marketing on a banner and then tried to narrate your cake cutting. Like, that's happened before. So that's the venue's fault.
Do we all think it's our fault? Because I almost it's always the planner's fault. That's my job is to get
the
blamed.
guests think it's the venue's fault.
Oh, yes.
Because it goes back to there's so many different ways that different venues in Cleveland work that they just think, oh, this is all in-house, so it's your people, or something like that. So we are just, with every vendor that comes in, if they're not already a partner, we are over communicative with them. We send them our policies. Katie's on the phone with them beforehand, just making sure they know when they can come in, they know where they can park, what they can and can't bring in here, storage, just all of it, because we want them to come in and not be upset and then like start the day upset. Because if they've never been here before, it is going to be different than, having, maybe some people have like way more storage and just everything. And like, we do have a wheelchair lift that we use as freight, but we shouldn't be using it as freight. So sometimes you have to carry things in, and we want people to know that. So when it comes down to it, it's like the vendors that know that really, really well, we push those people, because then you're going to have a seamless event. But of course you can bring in your own vendors, and that's fine. I think communication is the biggest thing.
Oh, absolutely. I think in every aspect of, relationships and wedding planning, obviously. Where does the overlap happen the most in your roles? Because it's probably the source of like misconceptions for couples, right? Because there's certain overlap of what you do.
Yeah, I got you.
Start with where you come from the venue.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as outside vendors go, especially with planners, we don't typically, as much as vendors think so, we don't really get to push people to a vendor. So we have an AEP approved vendor list, but it's mostly like allies, safe, like people we've worked with repeatedly. And it's not that I'm recommending them. I'm just telling you, here's the people that I know you'll be safe with. I want to work with them too, but you pick whoever. And so we get a litany of people, cousins, friend, Susie, who just started making cakes in her basement. I would say it's the worst. I lose a lot of planners who will end up quitting, because the struggle is that no matter how good we are at our jobs, if my clients hire a crappy DJ, I can't keep them on schedule. I can't keep their equipment. And so there's something to trying to navigate that with clients and not forcing them to hire the most expensive everything, but getting them to understand that I can only get a venue or a vendor to work to their capacity. You can't have a high-end wedding with low-end vendors, but hire in a planner and go, okay, make my crappy vendors good. I tried my first few years, and I was burnt out, and I hated every vendor I worked with. And that's, some of our planners will say, like, no matter how good I get at my job, it doesn't reflect in the random vendors that we end up working with, and then I don't feel good. And so that is a very difficult, how much do I continue to try to make a vendor good at their job and up to the level that I expect from my vendors, while also not sacrificing the quality of work I'm providing to my clients as well. And I think there's a huge struggle with how to meet in the middle. All that being said, where does the overlap happen? Because I did remember. I would say that the number one thing I run into is is the timeline. The timeline in the implementation of the timeline. I'm very vague in my timelines. I've done hundreds of weddings, but that doesn't mean I know the caterer and what they want to do in their schedule, or the photographer and how much time they need to take family photos. So I do keep a general sense of it, but there are venues that will say like, our dinner service takes 12 minutes. And I'm like, well, it doesn't. But the sell is it does. And it's like, okay, well, fine. Like, can we do working with them to get them to be realistic about it, or them thinking I'm not being realistic about it. And the battle being what is actually possible based on what my clients want and what the venue is good at.
Right.
So not just saying like, we don't do that, but also if we don't do that because we're bad at it, yeah, let's not do that. But there's a lot of venues who have been around long enough that they just sort of like, this is what we do. I had a wedding in Youngstown and they gave me a timeline and said, this is our timeline, this is what we do.
Oh,
Okay.
Interesting.
And it was they had the couple eat first. The bride and groom come in and eat alone. And then during dinner, they don't sit down. It was I've never.
Did the couple sign off on this?
They were very, very young.
Okay.
And they didn't know any better. And so when I was pushed back, they were like, we don't care.
Structure.
It was very weird. But that's the first time I ran into my attempt at saying like, well, this is how it usually works, or this is what my couple really wants, or this is what their parents love, and the venue pushing back on that. And so I would say that's the biggest struggle. And I know that for the most part, it probably comes from the venue wanting to look their best. But at the same time, like there has to be some leeway for the client's sake of, well, yeah, we really do, but we want a cookie station. Sure. If you don't have tables, no, cookie station, fine. But if it's just, we don't do that, I do push back on that. So I think like that's where I become a little annoying to venues. Okay.
Yeah. I would say that our biggest thing is like we tell you the parameters. If we're not coordinating and somebody else is coordinating, or you don't have a coordinator, you work with your caterer then on, food service then is going to be your timeline. Mm-hmm. And as long as your timeline is within the space you rented and you're not setting off fireworks in the ballroom, we're totally fine with it, because at that point, if we're not coordinating, we're just the venue. Like you are doing what you wanted within the timeline. And our space is very flexible. So, you can dance upstairs, dance down here, have an after party, whatever it is. We make sure all of that is finalized 2 weeks prior. And then we say, okay, you have fun, do it.
You saying timeline just made me think of a recent episode we did on ghosting. And vendors being ghosted.
Interesting.
And in that conversation, like I went into it knowing that, couples tend to ghost in the early stages of the finding your vendor, right? Like you're afraid to respond back saying you're not my cup of tea or whatever. But I can't believe how many couples pay for your services and then disappear until like a week before the wedding.
I mean, 2 a year, but like I will have to force people to do planning sessions to pull together their wedding. They're just sort of checked out of it. We don't know what's going on in their person. There could be family dynamics, drama. There's issues coming up with the wedding and they're just not feeling good about doing it. But I've definitely I think that's a really uncomfortable experience, because on my end, I'm feeling like, what if they're on the other side of this thinking I'm doing a bad job? What if they don't want to work with me because I did something? I say a lot of stupid things. Like, did I say that? So I think that's a very stressful. I wish I was confident enough to like not worry when that happens, but I've never been able to be like, who cares? Like, we'll talk whenever. I panic immediately, but I've definitely, and I think like just to say to them, like, we're trying to do this for you. Like, this is important for the day. It's a terrible place to be. I've never had it go so far because obviously we have to talk. But I have had vendors reach out to me to say, I haven't heard from the couple, what's going on?
Okay.
And so
yeah, we've had that a lot, but not like ghost completely where you signed a contract and then you didn't have your event.
Oh my God, that's a dream. Does everyone just want to book me and pay me and never ever talk to me? Like, sure.
Get to the 2 week mark
many
and then
free weekends. Yeah. No, vendors. So it probably is happening, and they're then reaching out to me to say, we have not heard from your couple. We need a photo list and we need a timeline, and I will then have to like push them for it. I do wonder what that is. Like, I think it happens all the time, no matter what. But I just wonder like why.
In the discovery process, do you put the venue on hold for the date?
No.
Okay, because I know some venues and some vendors, like photographers do.
I'm very anti that.
I just keep it on hold until for a week or two, but I don't care. Like it's not, I just would tell them if someone else called for their date.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's it. But I don't have nearly as many inquiries as you do. So I don't think that.
Well, what I'll do, yes, and thank you.
I feel like we can hear each other. I don't know.
We don't do soft holds because the people that have asked for holds have ghosted me.
Yeah.
It is all to the T. If you ask for a hold, I know I'm never hearing from you again.
Wow.
And I'm not holding that date because, our dates are our product.
Right, we only have so many
Right?
weekends.
So if you can pay for it, that's it. And that's why, and this is a whole other tangent, but that's why deposits are non-refundable because you just paid for that booking and nobody else can do it. So no, we don't do holds. But I do like to we've got the whole spreadsheet. I like to reach out and be like, hey, this date just got booked. Here's what else is available. Do you want me to update your proposal? Here's how you can move forward if you're still interested. Or if I know that a bunch of people are now starting to look at this one date, I'll reach out to the people that I've talked to and just be like, hey, heads up. But we do keep our availability online and it is up to date, I promise you.
So you are making it clear what isn't available.
Yeah.
They don't have to put a hold. They can
But
just
there's
check.
no I'm putting something on hold.
Yeah, you're not taking the date off the calendar for.
You don't get to take this day and then go off and look in other venues.
Yeah.
No.
In your experience, what's the biggest, we'll get to couples misconception, but from a vendor to vendor, I'm gonna get B2B here for just a second. What's the biggest misconception about your roles from the other party? So planners to coordinators, vice versa.
Well, from our end, there's a lot of, and I'm sure it's the same both ways, but because there are a lot of different packages, we don't always know which package the client has
Done, yes.
booked. Exactly. We don't know. We don't know if you're supposed to be there till the end of the night and pack up their stuff. We don't know if who have been with them through the whole process and you have their contracts. We don't get told those things. And because it's so different with all planners.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
We changed our packages to include a certain amount of hours. You can add more, right? Because we were running into this thing where you end up pricing yourself out of the market because you have to keep raising your prices. But it's been 18 years. I can't cost $30,000. I'm not getting booked. So it was adding in more hours, and we do get a lot of pushback because, you don't stay clean, and it's I did not become a wedding coordinator to do janitorial services.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing janitorial services, but that's not what people are paying me for. Right. So I think, I wish there was a way that we were able to. I almost feel like I would tell the vendors, but we talked about it, every package is different to each planner. So even if I say I'm doing full service, that could look different from the other full service. And so I will get a lot of pushback from venues or vendors saying, oh, why aren't you at this meeting? Why didn't you come to this thing? And it's my client didn't pay me to come to it. I'm not just skipping shit, for fun. And I think that's a huge problem that we run into because planners just do different things with the different packages. I wanted to go to just one package, but that's never gonna work. So, I would say that's the biggest thing that I run into all the time. And because I've been doing it for so long, it's sort of I know what I'm doing. I know what my package includes. You don't need to ask. You don't need to check on me to make sure I'm doing my job. Because I'm not calling you and saying hey, I've been called for the 4-week whatever. Come on. Because I don't know either. What they book.
With that though, what is your take on the day of coordinator?
Okay, that's not real. First off, I just this is the worst conversation ever. This could have been the topic. I'd have been hot.
No, this is
Talk about that because there are a lot of people that offer that as a package, and couples will go for it because it is the most affordable package listed, but it's not. So
I think I wouldn't deter any planner that wants to offer anything, right? Good for you. Offer whatever packages. If there are people who show up, you can book them a week out, great. I don't disparage ideas and offerings. It's just if you want a certain level of success for the day, you need to hire somebody invested longer. I think it's about education. But unfortunately, this is a one-time thing. So there isn't a lot of room for couples to want to invest in the education part. Right. But the education part would then say the person doing day of is manual labor. They're going to put out fires, clean up, put away, but they're not organizing you, managing you. I don't think there's a way around this because 17 years later, I've seen every kind of service offered for $300 and $800 and $500. And I think couples should know that for $500, you're going to get what you get. Right. But they don't. So it's like, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
Can I plug?
Yeah.
Can I plug the Elliot?
Sure.
So Elliot,
we're not here.
Elliot events. So our day of coordination starts 90 days out.
Okay.
And that's where I didn't know that people were doing day of coordination. Like, oh, we're just going to show up day of. Like, I don't know after doing coordination in-house how that's possible.
I would throw up. I would immediately just be like, no.
Like, we will meet with you, and it's like, when I do tours, I, walk them through the venue, everything like that, and then I ask them, do you plan on having a coordinator or a planner? I talk them through, like, here's what we do, but then I also say, here's a good checklist. Like, this is our package, but it's also a good checklist. You are responsible for these things, and I think that helps start the process. But 90 days out, I say, we are going to meet with you. You're going to give us the vendors you chose. You're going to give us what you want that day. You are going to tell us your mood, like not even your mood board. You're just giving us your decor, stuff like that. Planning and design, that's the next step up. But we don't have a, just show up day of and wing it. Like, fuck it, we're doing it live. Which it does feel like that.
I'm going to offer a new service. It's going to be called Fuck It, We're Doing It Live.
I mean, it still kind of is. We do not have a rehearsal. My friend's a stage manager, and she's like, wait, we're just doing this without rehearsing? I'm like, yeah, we're going to see if it works.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting to see. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just everything. It's all wording. It's all marketing. It's all branding. It's what do you call this, this, and this, and there's no one word for it. So that's where you get venue coordinator, venue planner, whatever it is.
Yeah, and none of them mean the same thing.
No, and it's
based
all
on person
confusing.
to person. Yeah, it's the same thing with packages. What do you call
Education and
everything?
communication.
But because it's only once in their life, they don't care.
And they don't care.
They don't
Nobody
care, but
cares.
nobody's invested in. I don't hire a plumber and go, would you teach me about plumbing while you're here so that I know how to be a plumber later?
Yeah.
I mean, I do
the
that
fish
though.
thing,
Actually,
though.
I do. But like most people don't, right? So nobody's like, okay, for this one day, would you tell me about lighting? And it's like, they're not. I try, right? Like we have a little thing that says like, how much would you like explained? All of it, some of it, just give me answers.
I love that.
When you were talking about the things you ask in advance, like we go through that too, like who's coming? How old are they? Where do they have to stay? Because you want to know more than just the logistics. It's like, what's the energy that you're trying to create? What do you want out of the space? How do you want people to walk away from the event feeling? And that's we say in like our like, what are you looking forward to? And it's like the list of things. And then like, what are you not looking forward to? And it's all the things. And like it says at the bottom, like not looking forward to anything. And then at the top is like looking forward to everything. And no one ever hits those. They literally like hate things like being the center of attention, photos, my mom. Like it's just like little things where they're going through to like create that narrative of what's the space going to be and what's that going to feel like to us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the education part, that's what I'm here for. I'm hoping to help educate everybody on these things. When it comes to venue and vendors, what are the biggest red flags that we should be looking out for?
Payment up front in full?
With 10% discount?
I think lack of experience, and I hate that this is an answer because it's not the fault of the vendor that they're new.
And then how do you get your feet wet if you are new?
So,
that's a hard line.
I think like were we talking about it or there's a dance floor that my clients want. They found a new vendor. It's $800. From my vendors, it's $3,000. And so I have to then go, let's talk about why it's $800, not $3,000. And what are you losing out by, hiring the $800 one? Like what's going to happen with $800? What are they not charging you for? I think the experience is the biggest issue in how do you get around someone not being experienced without letting them use one of the most important days of your life as the way they learn experience.
Yep.
And I hate it for new people because they have the opportunity, like they should learn and they do need that opportunity. It's just, this is not the day in my eyes to risk it.
Do you have something on that?
So like red flags of other vendors?
Vendors and or venues. What should couples be looking at when they're doing the discovery period?
I have a lot of red flags with people.
Oh. Well, that's part of it too, though. You're dealing with these personalities.
Because I don't usually we don't get their contracts with the vendors. Because if just in a venue coordinator capacity, we're not going to see your contracts.
Yeah.
We don't see your even though you're using one of our caterers, like we don't typically see the caterer's contracts too. That's a separate thing.
You think it's a misconception couples have? That
Yes.
It's part of all of it.
And that's where the education through the tour and the sales process and just beating you overhead with information comes into. I see red flags day of. I'll see like someone walk in and just how they do things. It's like, oh, that's a red flag. But leading up to it, when you're choosing, I don't have too many. It's really just, does it fit within, your budget, your vision, everything like that. Yeah, you go.
Word document contracts with misspellings or
sure.
just generic text. I think that's a huge, when someone sends me something like that, or they typed it up or they wrote it, like I've seen paper, huge red flag, like, because I want a vendor that wants to protect themselves as well. And if you're not concerned about what's happening within your, like, I don't trust that you care about my client's day too. Not responding in timely manners, which I hate, because we do have to have a boundary of like our own lives and not getting back to you in 24 hours, but vendors that take a long time, vendors that make excuses for a lot of things that are going on. And I think it's the people that becomes a people red flag part. But as we're talking about, I feel like, isn't this just the nature of every industry? Yeah, like I don't know that we'd ever get around, like no one's ever going to be educated on weddings coming into it. So it's like, we can try our best, but what's the easiest way to get them informed? Right. And I think we're trying to do that, but we don't know.
I think our red flags come in too late. Like when we start having to, as the venue, reach out and go, hey, like here's our policies, whatever. If you don't have an email, or we can't get a hold of you, or we've been asking you something for a long time, and then day of you're like, oh, I can't get in at 6 a.m. to start setting up. And it's like, no. And so you just know, like, okay, that's how this day's gonna go. But we, as a venue, we don't see a lot of that, and we don't get those red flags till later down the road.
That's a good one. I have florists that don't know the timelines for venues, photographers who don't know the venue for the sake of photos and lighting, not caring. I've had vendors say like, well, we've never been there, but we don't need to do a tour. We'll show up that day. And I feel very strongly that that's the incorrect answer. If you can't afford to go to the venue on your own time, like charge, but like vendors that are invested in making sure you feel comfortable with what they're doing. I think that's a huge one. And I will use this forever, even though not everyone agrees. But if your email is at AOL, I swear to God,
Yahoo.
I'm like, no. Like when I'm not emailing them. I like, there's just something about a wedding business that didn't decide to get like a new email, or like, why? It's a weird thing I go through today's bride, and like my son even knows like they don't have an email. And I'm like, yep, see, Yahoo.
You're educating them young.
I am. This is not a professional email. You should know that. It's not. It's like free to get your own email. Like,
but do you think it's important too? And I don't know if how much your couples are spending on your websites, but how having a very communicative website is.
And I agree, Stephanie. We're transparent fully.
So
price point.
I'm so glad you do that.
Yeah.
Services on there.
One time I do have a spreadsheet, and it needs to be updated, but you can go in and pick all of your add-ons and selections and everything from the Elliot and get an actual quote.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it's so nice.
I know. I need to work on it.
And so I think that transparency is also really important. I know not everybody likes the transparency model, because 90s sales told us like, no, hook them in and then sell them on your price point.
It's a waste of time on all of our...
With the internet, it's silly
Both
now,
sides.
because I don't want someone that can't afford. There's nothing more mortifying than going into somewhere or into something and not knowing the price, and then being uncomfortable finding out whether you can afford it or not, like as a person, not just as a bridal client. So I think that's such an important factor. I will tell people, like, if their prices aren't on there, like, let's not. Because I don't know who knows?
And let's be clear too. It's like, you don't have to have your exact price. You can say starting at, because every wedding's going to be different, especially like for you planning, for example. Like, you might book this couple that's having an Elliot wedding with 75 to 100 people, and then you have some country club on the east side in Chagrin Falls. It's 200 people, and it's a whole different ballgame, right? So a starting at is just, I actually think I said in the episode this week, like it's in Clueless, where she's like, it's just a jumping off point to start negotiations, you know? Because it is.
Thank
like, it's
you.
a way so you can start getting your budget, like, okay, this place is gonna be more in my wheelhouse. And that's I think the transparency is important.
But I think it's important for us as the vendor to allow the client to see that so they're comfortable, because it doesn't feel comfortable wanting something and then not being sure if you're going to be able to afford it, because then you're excited to have that conversation. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to get through the conversation, also love you, and then you go, my budget is $500. And then I'm like, oh, okay, good luck.
Why'd you let me love you?
Right. Come on. Well, and then you have like $1 million insurance policies you have to take out, and then you're blindsided by that, and you've fallen in love with like this exquisite venue, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot to that.
Or you're me and you start giving people discounts because you love them so much.
So I was gonna say, here's the worst part, that if anyone knew, I feel like every couple should listen to this and hear me when I say this. If somebody is nice to me and is like, I really want to work with you, you're so fun, I'm like, okay, how much do you want to pay? And then that's when vendors are like, what are you doing for them? And I'm like, nothing. I charge them $27. I will be there for an hour, but I definitely do. And but if you're easy to work with, if you're fun, if you're nice, it's setting my season up for success too. I'm not going to do it for $500, but like, it's a way for me to know that I'll enjoy the process with you as well. So yeah, that's all you have to say. That's how I did the wedding in Youngstown. They were like, we love you. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll come down.
Yep.
They were 21. Everybody threw up. It was terrible. I've never done young people. And
Were shots allowed at that wedding?
Yeah, no shots. Like everybody,
shots.
I didn't know they were young until the shots.
Yeah.
And then everybody was in the bathroom puking, and I was like, yeah, that's great. Nope.
And you're like, I'm not on janitorial duties.
No janitorial. That's extra.
What is one piece of advice you give couples to help their planning process go smoother?
I tell people to stick to themselves. Stick to, like, you know what you want, write that down. Just put that somewhere. Like, you know what you want, you know what your budget is, you know what your parameters are. I see so many people that would be like, this is my first tour, and they'll walk in and they'll be like so over the moon, and then the end of the tour, it's like, okay, we're gonna go home and book you. And I'm like, no, you're not. Yeah. You're not. You're in like honeymoon la la land right now. Stick to what you want and be real with yourselves. And also focus on the experience. Because you can do all these decor, all these big floors, all these things. Nobody's going to remember that. They're going to remember the experience. And so, like, from start to finish, planning is a job. And so you want to have a good time together doing so.
Oh my God, following up right up on yours. We should have been best friends 10 years ago. I would say stop making your wedding a styled shoot.
Yes.
I really
Get off TikTok.
God, I know that I sound so old right now, but a lot of my weddings this season were very disappointing because a lot of it was, let's set up this beautiful experience because we saw it and we want the real without considering what is going on for everyone else. So we did I'm going to try to be neutral about this so that I don't judge anyone. We did that wonderful champagne thing where they shake the bottles and then slam them down on the ground.
Oh,
I love that. That's my favorite. And every time you do it, you have to literally like set up the location. Then you have to set up the like walk through and slam. Then the photographer has to be ready. And it turns everything into us setting up a reel for you to share later. The pour champagne when we come in and it gets everywhere. Like, it's all about, we want this to share on social media. And I get it, but I don't like the day becoming about making the best photo or making the best reel. I want it to be engaging and exciting and feel like you two without turning into, we had $8,000 in floral, take 80 pictures with us in front of it.
Then your photos are going to be better when the experience is great, because that comes through. Yeah. I see everybody's galleries, and I can tell.
I do too. I love the happy, like fun, happy.
The weddings that were just like, you could feel the love and the energy in the room, that comes through in your photos. The photos where it's like, you are going around checking the lighting and just like not being with it's the first time that everybody that you love is in one room, and possibly the only time in your entire life. Everybody you love is in the same room at the same time. It is such an extraordinary feeling that you don't realize until day of.
You need to be in it, not creating little moments to take pictures of.
Exactly. And if you're like focusing on what things look like and not spending the time like enjoying your cocktail hour, enjoying dancing and all those things, like, you're going to walk away like, well, why did we do that?
So we did a champagne, my favorite thing ever, the champagne.
So we did it anyway.
We did it. I tell my clients, hey, I don't know, this is not my favorite, but like if you want to do, and they're like, yeah, we want to do it. We don't care what you say. And I'm like, yeah, great. We did the champagne bottles. I got the gallery. I love the love photos too. Like I was telling Lindsay today, like I love seeing them be happy. I do not love the sexy photo you took with umbrella and like in front of a waterfall, right? Like I don't care because like, fine. I want it fun. We did the champagne bottles and I got the gallery and I just got it last week. And the wedding was $180,000. It was super fancy. We stopped everything to make everybody watch. While they did the champagne thing, I just saw the pictures and not one of them came out. Not one of them came out. It looks terrible. Yeah, couldn't believe it. So I'm like, on top of everything else, when you made it about this, you didn't even get what you got out. Like, so I really, like, that would be my story for the next 5 years to tell people why you shouldn't keep staging things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
If you want a stage photo shoot, rent us out, do a stage photo shoot. I am all about that. We love it.
Sexy and
Do not, don't put your guests through that.
Get another usage of that tux and dress. Yeah.
It's like the sparkler exit. It's the same thing. Everyone's wasted and they're hot and they want to go
You're
home.
giving drunk people
And now you're
fire.
giving So it's like
We had a wedding where the bride picked out who she wanted in it.
in the sparkler photo.
Pretty sure Katie had to go find them all, and it came out great. And instead of having just everybody, she's like, these are the people I want. Let's just do this real quick. And I'm like, that's brilliant.
What about the less attractive friends that she didn't pick?
That's a great question.
She's
You know,
like,
not my
"Curly
problem.
friends,
We're
you
just
stay
a venue.
inside. Sexy friends, you go line up so that we look like we only had very attractive people here today.
That's what it was.
That was what it was, I know.
Aside from not being TikTok focused, what's something couples can do to make your jobs easier?
Read.
Decisiveness,
Please read.
making decisions, having responses, knowing or
Responding.
exploring what you want. A lot of my clients that will say like, oh, I'm type A, I am so sorry, I'm so detailed, or I'm so...
I love that.
There's nothing better because I don't know what to do with, I don't know, maybe like ivory and pink. And I'm like, okay, do you love pink? No. Do you love ivory? No. It's just what I've seen. It's like, I want you to at least explore what you want. I know not everyone can, but I think it's so awesome when somebody does know what they want and can say to us, like, make this happen the way that we have seen it happen.
Yeah, just be confident.
Oh, yeah.
This is we know it's your big day.
You have every right to say what
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
You have every right to ask us questions. Like we always say, like ask away. We may say no because of policy and
Right.
whatever, but you ask because we'd rather you ask us than day of go. Oh, by the way, we're doing this nonsensical thing, which has consequences.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can talk, obviously, all day. We have to start wrapping up here before the Q&A. If you know the show, you know what one of the last questions I ask is, what is in your wedding fuck it bucket?
Let's see, fuck it bucket.
Because like Alicia, the founder, her number one is chair covers.
Oh
Throw
my
in the
God,
fuck it
chair
bucket.
covers.
They're stupid. For some people, it's having huge wedding parties. For others, it's the cake cutting. It's a personal opinion.
visits? I just
Wait, yes.
Please stop awkwardly going to tables and awkwardly talking to people and making everyone sit during dinner while you go visit all the people that came to your... You have to host people that came to your wedding. They came to your wedding. I would get rid of tables. Every time I'm like, no. You hug grandma later.
Yeah.
She'll be fine. Table visits, done.
I think it's table visits.
It's table visits.
Because
a good
honestly, I
one.
do
It's
like
horrible.
a lot of the traditions. I think they're nicely done, but I only like it if you like it.
Oh, yeah.
I would say in the fuck it bucket is everybody else's expectations of your wedding.
Ooh, I use a line where I tell people all of these rules are sexist and they were made up.
Oh yeah, fuck the patriarchy.
About 7,000 years ago, and they were very, very harmful to women. You don't have to keep doing them. So, like, unless you feel compelled,
You don't have to toss a bouquet.
please stop hiding from your fiance. I tell you, like, I have started telling people, please, why don't you guys get ready together? Like, this is your best friend, the person that makes you feel the best about who you are and what you're doing. The most stressful experience of your entire life. And you're like, I don't want to see you until later on tonight. So I'm like, no, get ready together. Have a party in the morning. Like, this should be fun and relaxed and easy. We do not have to follow etiquette. It wasn't real then. It's not real now.
Inviting people.
Oh, God, yeah.
Inviting people.
Inviting any people.
If you went to their
Overall.
wedding, it's an estranged family member. It's your
Mom's
your
friend,
mom's
sister's
best
cousin.
friend.
Yes.
Yeah, you do not have to. Even if they're paying. If somebody offers you money and says, I'm going to cover your wedding, that should not come to a strings attached. And if it does, then shut it down.
And also, the guests say no. my clients are so happy when people don't come.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not that they don't want people there, but it's like,
You know how much money they're saving?
So I wish from my end when I watch weddings that guests that do not want to be there would stop coming. Because I watch people not pay attention to the cake cutting or the dances or the speeches. I'm offended for my couple to think that they included you, they excluded someone.
Right.
And you came and you don't even care.
Yeah.
Stop inviting, obligatory.
Would you put +1s with that for
No,
like
because the plus one
non-significant
could-
others?
No, I think the +1 could care. Like,
Okay.
it's the right people, not the
Right.
obligatory people.
I have a whole thought about +1s. It's like if somebody's traveling from out of state,
I know, to be alone.
give them a +1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
No, that's
You'll be
true.
fine.
Yeah, also
right?
that,
Like, so
yeah.
it's like, I don't have a across the board policy other than, like, my dad's work friends are all coming.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
no.
Well, people forget the most expensive thing about the wedding is the guest count.
It's the guest count.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, with that, it's time to open up for Q&A. We want to hear from y'all. Who wants to do the first question? Oh, my mom, my mother, Rhonda.
Well, it's not so much a question, but it's just, I feel that all this information can be used in all of our events and things in our life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt it was very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Wonderful. Yeah, like,
Thank you,
my
Leah.
mom's on
I
here.
never prompted her.
Yeah, you did. No.
All right, so you kind of touched on this with social media, but I'm a little more curious as far as AI. Have you guys noticed any changes in what couples are asking for because a ChatGPT told them they should do this for $500 or whatever?
You know what? This is actually going to be a bit. I have an AI answer, but not.
You have an AI answer?
I'm not AI.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? that was your segue. You're like, and ta-da! AI coordinators. I will say, it's like, when people get old and they say stuff and you're like, you're old. And it's like, I hear myself. I have not seen tech things come and go so quickly for what we think is going to happen and overtake the world. Like, then it's gone. And so I don't find that my couples are really invested in trend tech. It's not to say that AI is not critical and staying around and useful for so many things, but I don't see that happening a lot, even when they could go online and find all the stuff themselves. Like, we still have jobs. So they're not picking up on a lot of it. I do think that there's a lot of room for what we're trying to develop. Do I share this? Whatever, who cares? Whatever, everyone can do it. An AI wedding assistant that is programmed to match our brand and downloads like my entire existence from the internet, so that you could at any given moment chat with me.
Absolutely.
And so that would be the one, but like, I have not, and now that you said it, I'm like, oh God, if they start like saying like ChatGPT said I could do this for $200, and it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen.
So what I took away from the question was like, okay, seeing, something that was AI and it's like, we can't do that. It's not real.
Oh yeah, that's terrible too.
What I thought was we are getting so many emails that are written by ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah.
That are either being flagged as spam or I literally don't know if you're real.
Yeah.
I for the last week I've been working with a client and then they signed and I still don't know. And I'm like, now I'm ChatGPT and going, can ChatGPT sign? I'm confused.
You hired it. You booked an AI wedding.
Yeah. So no, we'll see. We'll find out. But I'm not worried about AI because at the end of the day, AI cannot plan your wedding. They can give you wild expectations and really, really, really wrong
Let's plan
information.
a wedding with AI. Let's see what happens. Maybe that should be the next podcast.
That's fun.
We planned an AI wedding. Here's what we came up with.
I didn't know AI photos were influencing people.
Oh, they're that's what I thought you were talking about.
Expectation.
I'd really like to know if there are couples who would want faked photo. Like, I would think as the couple, you would want your real photos. Maybe you want yourself in a AI photo where you're on in Egypt. I don't know fucking know, but like, I don't think I would be shocked if people were like, I don't even want wedding photos. They're just going to AI.
Oh, I didn't even think
No,
about
I
that.
didn't think about that. Stay tuned on
I
that.
thought about people saying like using AI to make good looking photos.
There could be someone.
Oh.
So like, then you're just like, here, make us married. I just don't think.
married?
No, like visually.
No, I will tell you, don't ever upload a photo of yourself to AI and ask it to do something. I did that with Colleen. It was the scariest thing of ever. We were both like, we can't.
I tried to have it make me like a sticker for my couples, and it was horrible. So that's why I'm like, yeah, good luck, AI.
No, AI's got nothing.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay.
Thanks for the question. Next. Yeah.
Coming up next year, I'm getting married. Pretty big one. Thank you. Yes, massive wedding, 320, maybe more.
Oh, wow.
Okay, he's Italian. I don't know what
You
to tell
paid
you
your
guys.
venue in full already, and you'd like to
No, but I'm thinking about small details now, thinking about guest experience, small things that will make their lives easier. I know it's my day, but I don't want them to leave and be upset at me. So what are some small, whether it's details or even like paying for parking, we're doing that. What have you guys seen work in your spaces, in your businesses, in the vendors you've talked to that are nice touches or just thoughtful items that have been placed around? Yes.
It depends on you as a couple. One, you don't have to host the whole weekend for people. I think that's important to start saying. Please stop hosting Friday night, Saturday morning, Sunday brunch. Your guests are coming in for your wedding. They're not coming in to explore Cleveland and be tour. Like, they're coming in for this event. I think making everything as easy to understand, giving as much direction, information as possible, what time doors open, what time we're doing these things, explaining parking and directions. It isn't so much, and a lot of my couples think this too, it's not so much about paying for everything. It's making the experience easy and something that they can understand and plan out themselves as well. So I think it's more about preparing them for the weekend. Are we gonna be outside? Is it cold? Making sure those little things like that. So when they come, they feel taken care of. A lot of my couples believe that means paying for everything and hosting all of these things to entertain and engage the guests the whole way through. And that's really not the case. Nobody is coming in expecting that. They're coming in for the wedding. And so I think it's just more about making that process easy. The hotel, checking in, the timing, all of those things are going to be what makes it.
To that, are you finding that couples are still utilizing wedding websites to get that information out? And are guests actually going to it?
No, they are definitely making them. They're investing all this time and energy into making them beautiful, as much information as possible. Half the guests come and say, I didn't know they had a wedding website. I'm like,
I think that, so for a while it was like you started doing the wedding website, but you still wanted to appease the written, and your parents want you to do the written RSVPs and all that stuff. I'm starting to see, with friends and with couples that I'm talking to, is that we're just going to do a QR code. And so you have to go online to see it. I'm not mad about it. But to echo your point, the guest experience is, people get mad when they don't understand things. Yeah. I mean, that's not just in the wedding industry, that's life. You just get angry. And so making sure they know what to expect. Is there going to be food here? Do you have to pay for your own drinks? It's totally okay to say, there's a cash bar, we're not going to pay for your drinks, but tell people that. Let them know what they need to expect. Is there a coat check? Just all of that stuff. And then then the day's gonna go smoothly.
More of a timeline heads up as well.
Timeline, just what to expect.
Wedding starts at 3, but really you just know 3:15.
Attire, and being very clear about attire. People tend to do they want it to look better, so it's a line, dress formal, and it's no, go into explanation and lay this out. There are gonna be people that are confused, and they'll be uncomfortable coming and being confused. Yeah. And so I will tell people that from the minute that the event starts, you want that experience to always be good. So it's what are we doing to make sure that at no point do they run into this issue? And it's a lot of stuff like valet that I talked to Lindsay about. There's, if your guest waited 25 minutes to get their car, you have started them off in a bad mood unless you've done something to accommodate that. So even looking at what are some issues that we know we're gonna have, what can we do?
Do you think lack of signage day of is also a big one?
I was just going to say that. So on the wedding side, we see a lot of people just so focused on, things they've seen on TikTok or Pinterest or whatever, to make the signage look pretty, and they want it right here because of this lighting and all that stuff. But it really screws with the flow of how people come into the venue, and that's even if we're not coordinating day of, leading up to it, we're there to answer where we think best practices are, where we think things should be. And if you were too focused on, you want this thing to look like this, but then people don't know, the obvious flow from up here to upstairs is then you look at your seating chart. If your seating chart is on the other side of the lobby and this door's open and guests are going right into this room, and then they don't know where they're going to see, just things like that help for the flow of the day. Yeah.
Did we answer your question at all? I feel like we talked about like 80 things, and I was like, did you get any answer whatsoever?
A detail I thought of, correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you're working with vendors, things that people forget about is coordinating with, like, say you want flowers on your cake. Who's responsible for that? Is the florist giving it to the baker? Is the baker coming in and working with like, how does little details like that also get missed?
Not with a planner, they don't.
That's true. That's true.
But it's like little things,
I was like,
right?
oh, that's definitely a huge part. But that's where I say that, no, not every wedding needs a planner. But if you don't have a planner, who's thinking of all of this? Who's responsible for all of this? You don't have to hire a planner, but you do have to have someone that can be, I don't know, like the boss of the day. We offer a DIY service where you can get help with timelines and vendors, but we don't come to the wedding. And so then they hand it to their bossy maid of honor, their bossy aunt. You know, there is somebody you know that can run
Like
it.
a consultant.
Yeah, and then they'll just hand.
nice.
We hand it off, and that's just There has to be something for people that either don't value it or don't budget for it. But you do still need professional guidance a little bit. Like that's it.
I agree.
So I'm working with a client, and she's having a hard time telling her friends they can't be in the wedding. It's getting ridiculous. We're up to about 11 girls at this point. And I feel sorry for the groom because he's finding guys just kind of fill in for, you know, all of the girls.
I have so many thoughts.
They're running out of room at the altar at this point. So what advice do you give to the client, like, as far as telling them, no, we really cannot do this? Or how do you...
I usually tell people, lie and say that I said you can't do it.
Yeah.
Then you don't get in trouble for it, and nobody can blame you. But I will come up with intricate lies for you as to why it doesn't work, so that it's at least leaning into, because I think that's an important part of the role of the planner as well, is let me be the bad guy. I don't care if your best friend doesn't like me after this, but tell them my planner said based on the venue or the whatever, we can do 4 people or whatever. You know, like that was what I would do. Like,
Yeah, I will also lie. Absolutely. I've told couples, I was like, you could tell your grandma this is a church.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
We'll set it up for service. On the other, I think that you could have as many in your party as you want. I think that's totally fine. I hate the idea of having it has to be equal on both sides. But then I would offer a different suggestion. Like, okay, well, then maybe they're not all standing up there. They're gonna like maybe walk down the aisle and then sit down in the front 2 rows. Like, not everybody needs to stand up. Or you have your sweetheart table and you're gonna put them all at a different table. Like, you can have the biggest party you want. It's your wedding. But how do we make like that's a logistic?
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Like you were
successful.
We all sort of like were like, ugh, big bridal party. I did too, and I was like, yeah,
fine.
fine.
That's an okay.
But only because the logistics of it and the work that it puts on the bride. That's more of why I don't like them, because it becomes then the bride managing 10, 12, 14 friends who half of them get along, half of them hate each other, and then halfway through the planning, the other half of them hate each other. So it's like that's what I would say would deter me if I were to tell a client, like, hey, like, let's keep it. I did have somebody who she did not want to create a bridal party, so she invited her closest friends, and they all wore like the same color.
Yes.
So there was no like bridal party, but they all came and got ready with her, and everybody got like wore red.
Yeah.
And like they didn't do anything in the ceremony, but they got to be part of her day and like be a part
That's great.
I mean, that's a great idea. And then also all your bachelorette parties, like all your friends are coming who are in the wedding anyway. Like, it's more of a symbolic thing at this point. I think it would just be ask her what she wants out of that. Like, yeah, it's your party, but what do you want them to do? How do you see them as like playing a role in the wedding?
Any other questions?
I manage a historic venue.
Oh, cool. Are you okay?
No, actually. So we do not require planners, but when they don't have a planner, I'm like, these drunk motherfuckers are going to ruin my venue, and my stuff's 200 years old. So now I'm just a planner.
Can you require a charge if they don't bring a planner on, so then you're covered for having to be the planner?
I guess that's my question is, as a historic venue person, how do you establish those boundaries where like, hey, baby girl, I'm not planning your whole shit for you actually. But then also when you've worked with venues that do require planners, does that price out some of your clients? Is it generally helpful?
So on the historic side, if there's no planner, same thing. Like our venue coordinator is not there to, help them down the aisle, anything like that. But we do have our bartenders are in-house, so that's all of our staff, and then our venue coordinators, and sometimes they will overlap during the ceremony and things like that. They all know our policies, so they can enforce policies. Our bartenders know when to cut people off. There's an entire emergency process around, this person's drinking too much, this person needs to go, and then we have security on site as well. So as far as people getting too drunk and breaking things, it's gonna happen anywhere, but unless a lot of things haven't broken here except for one time a t-shirt was thrown into the chandelier and that ripped down big parts of it. And that was a dry wedding, so I don't know that helps.
Do you require security?
That is chandelier gate. So we include security.
But you have security on site.
Security's on site, and then it's our contracts say, you signing this contract and putting down a credit card on file says you are responsible if you break something, whatever. We're not gonna require that you have insurance or a planner, but it is on you. It's not on your vendors. Your vendors could break something and we're coming after you. Right, because you, in the contract, you are responsible for everyone you bring in, because we're the box, we're the venue. Mm-hmm. So that's how we do it, and it works out pretty well. I mean, at the end of the day,
release the
stop doing more for people that you're not getting paid for. And this is very hypocritical of me to say, but
we all do it.
But yeah,
we all do it anyway.
Or charge them. Just charge people.
I say there are very few venues that don't have somebody on site. The ones that don't have anyone on site, it's here's the keys, good luck. Because at least then you're not on site worrying the whole time. I would say for any venue, you should not be doing more than you're getting paid for. So if you are being the planner, I know it's so hard to tell venues to charge for stuff. I'm the same way where I'm I'm not going to charge for that. But from a planner's viewpoint, watching a venue and watching what the venue coordinators do end up doing, it's a whole other job with us. But if there's no us, you're doing double the work. Mm-hmm. So you have to be compensated somehow. I know that it's not as simple as being great, we'll charge, I'll get paid. And it's then nobody books. But I don't think that that's how it works. If you're conveying the value and you're letting them understand why this matters, maybe it'll work. I hate to suggest that because I'm the first person I'll just do it. Don't worry about it. For free.
It also depends too, what is in your contract, what's included.
Having very clear parameters of what.
Because is it the planner's duty to stop a drunk person, or is that the venue and security? It just depends on what's included with your contracts.
Yeah, there's a venue that I don't work with that their contract, it's here's the keys, good luck, and they say that it has to be cleaner than when you came.
Why?
You have to leave the venue cleaner than when you got there. I'm sure it's not, but it's at 2:00 in the morning, who's doing that?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And who's making sure it happens? And then every person's arguing about the being billed, and now you just created a whole entire catastrophe. So it's you really, that amount of money that you need, it covers a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm. That help? Okay. Yeah.
What would you guys say is the most underrated vendor that makes the biggest impact?
Could you tell them to ask these good questions beforehand?
Question.
The day of coordinator.
Not day of coordinator, planner.
I'm sorry.
Right, whatever the terminology is.
Whoever is there on site day of coordinating the event.
That planned it in advance with you, not just showed up that day.
Well, okay, not just showed up that day. Whoever has been working with you knows what you want, knows what to expect, and is there and is running. Cut something else out. Don't spend as much on I don't know, whatever it is, favors, anything. Get someone there on site that day. Yeah.
I wish that my answer was your answer because your answer was great. But I don't care about a lot. And it's personally my client's preferences. However, don't be mad at me, Lindsay. I think that when couples have noon ceremonies and 6 o'clock cocktail reception, you're not even going to know what I'm going to say. I wish they'd hire their hair and makeup team to do touch-ups.
Oh, I love that.
I know that I'm an advocate for not spending money, but I had it happen twice. I have never noticed how much that did end up mattering to my client, because then she went in feeling better versus the 4 hours of photos and you're sweating and you're inside and you're outside and maybe it rained and you look kind of having that retouch. I hate that that's my answer, because like I'm not like
it's a great one,
luxury
actually.
person. I just think that, no, I don't mean like if you have 15 minutes before and after. It's just those big gaps. Everyone feels better. I think, if you include the moms, they feel taken care of too. I think that like, that's something I've seen that's like very underrated, and like, no, not everyone needs it, but it's something very cool to have for everyone to go into the reception feeling a lot better than 5 hours after they got married.
That's also why planners tend to have the kits with them that have
yeah.
too.
Yeah, we're fixing everything at that point, but the hair and makeup people can like make everybody fresh and beautiful again. And
Were you saying something, Stephanie?
I should have said planner.
Just admiring.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope helped answer your questions. Thank you, Steph from the Elliot and Brandi from All Events Planned. Don't forget, if you don't already, to follow Bridechilla on Instagram, your favorite podcast, now on YouTube. And of course, follow these ladies on their sites as well. And we'll be sticking around to eat, drink our fuck it buckets, and hang out. So have fun. Oh, and big shout out to Evergreen Podcasts. Make sure you follow evergreenpodcasts.com and all of our social media, and shout out to the Evergreen team. Gray, Samantha, Dave. Thanks, you guys.